Ask the Messengers, the program that deals with substance abuse, real people telling real stories. Hosted by Pastor Lester Lewis, co-host Charlize Wilkerson and Leroy Carey. Where there is addiction, there is a chance for recovery. We're trying to help save lives on Ask the Messengers.
Women are more likely than men to face multiple barriers to accessing substance abuse treatment. Today on Ask the Messengers, you will hear from a few women who defied the odds. Through their addiction experience, they found the strength to no longer use the substances that once controlled their lives. Yes, women do recover, and here are their stories.
When I was younger, I first started off with smoking weed, and I thought it was all right, and then gradually went to using pain pills, and then straight from pain pills I went to heroin.
My horrible nightmare started back when I was younger. When I was 18 years old, I hurt my back at a job that I was doing, and I was lifting too much, and next thing I know, I'm going to the doctor, and they're running all these tests, and they're prescribing more meds. I started going through a bunch of different physical therapy, injections in my back, nerve blocks, all kinds of stuff that, I was willing to try to see if it gave me some relief. The pain medicine just kept getting stronger, and at that time when I first started taking the opiates, I think back, and I think back that for some reason I was one of those ones that didn't realize how addicting the opiates, the pain medicine was. I didn't want to say that I was blind to it, but I didn't realize. In my head, the doctor was prescribing this for me, so that's what I was going to take. So a few years of taking the pain medicine, doing the different treatments and therapy, it got to a point to where they wanted to do back surgery, and I didn't want back surgery for many different reasons. But the minute that I went against medical advice, is what they called it, of course the doctor cut me off. He cut me off from seeing me and cut me off from the pain medicine as well. So next thing I knew, I was out on the street and I was buying the pain medicine, trying to find it wherever I could find it. As the years went on, I found out that the pills were getting harder and harder to find. They were increasing in price. I'm like, well, wonder what else. Then the people that I was hanging around introduced me to a super duper pain reliever. I'll be honest, the first time that I did that, super duper pain reliever, I fell in love. I wondered where it had been my whole life. But on the flip side of that, I felt dirty. I felt nasty. It was weird. And then a few days after that, I found out that super duper pain reliever was better known as heroin.
When I was using it, I thought I was different because I worked. And so I thought that maybe because I worked, I was different than everybody else since I didn't hit the bottom. But I did everything that I could, and I always wanted somebody around me. When I was using, I was always treating everybody. So I didn't know how to hustle. My hustle was to work.
I was introduced at the age of 35 years old to crack, and then it led to heroin. I was dating a sheriff, and he was into heroin and introduced me to it.
I actually worked in a pharmacy, and I was helping myself, and I did get caught. I went to jail for a year. I've struggled on probation. My addiction led to crime, various forms of theft.
In the beginning, it was fun because you're trying to keep up with your friends and, you know, family, I guess, because family was using also. So later on down the line, it became a habit. It became really hard because I had things that happened in my life that began to get serious. I started to fall off track. I was doing things that the drugs made me do that I shouldn't have been doing. I was shoplifting to support my habit, going back and forth to the penitentiary. I've been in the penitentiary 3 times. I've lost my kids 3 times due to the drugs. I became homeless. I even got raped from it. Things had spiraled really bad out of control.
I started using heroin when I was 19 years old. At first I started snorting it and I fell in love. Everything about it, it made me feel normal. I could run, no pain, work. I worked so much. It was just a joy of mine to be out playing with my nieces and my nephews and running around like I didn't have a care in the world. Pretty soon it became such an issue that I needed it every single day. It had become an addiction and I didn't even realize it. I had no idea what addiction was, no idea. I didn't know anything about the detox of it, the anatomy of it, the mind games of it, or where it would take me. I was going to college, I had straight A's. I soon dropped out. Was in some pretty abusive relationships, some really crappy ones that gave me more fuel to my fire to think that, why try? So I just kept using. I ended up going to jail for a long period of time when I was 20, receiving stolen property. It was all a part of my drug habit. My drug habit took me places where I never ever thought that it would.
Stay tuned for more of Ask the Messengers.
I am Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer, informing you that the Wayne County Treasurer's Office is now again open to the public. To adhere to social distancing guidelines, visits to the office must be by appointment only. To make an appointment, visit the Treasurer's Office website at treasurer.waynecounty.com. And for the safety of everyone, a face covering is required. Even though we are not foreclosing on any properties in 2020, I encourage taxpayers to continue making payments to avoid foreclosure in the future. This can be done online at treasurer.waynecounty.com, by visiting a DivDat kiosk located near you, by using the Wayne County mobile app, by phone, or by mailing payments to the office. If you need to visit our office, you can set up an appointment on our website, where you can also obtain kiosk locations and other valuable information. You can email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com or call us at 313-224-5990 to set up an appointment or for further assistance. We look forward to helping you.
Are you struggling with an addiction to drugs and alcohol? Are you torn with which way to go to get better? Look no further. Pure Recovery Substance Treatment Centers are here to help. Pure Recovery offers non-judgmental support for men who are finding their way to recovery. With several locations within Wayne County, one of them could be just right for you. Contact Pure Recovery today through the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network's 24-hour helpline, 800-241-4949.
If you or someone you know is battling with any type of cancer, you need to read the book by Laverne Moore Slaughter, God Encounters Are Real. In her book, she tells how through prayer and faith, God healed her and set her free from stomach cancer. For more information and to get your copy, visit www.encountersarereal.net.
Underage drinking is responsible for more than 4,300 deaths of youth annually. DWIHN, along with its provider partners, strive to educate young people on the deadly dangers of alcohol use and abuse. We teach youth about the dangers of drinking, especially when driving. If you are looking for resources to share with your loved one, give the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network a call, 24/7, 800-241-4949. Here to talk, here to help. More than 2.5 million Americans are addicted to opioids. The addiction is sometimes developed through the improper use of prescription painkillers. Using prescribed medication in ways or amounts not intended by a doctor is very dangerous. So it's important that unused prescriptions are properly disposed of. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, or for more information about prevention, treatment, and recovery services, or how to properly dispose of medication, contact the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network, 24/7, 800-241-4949. Here to talk, here to help.
According to the Federal Center for Substance Abuse Prevention, about 2.7 million women in the United States have abused drugs or alcohol. Many women find that the support of a 12-step program or other support groups are exactly what they need to live a life free of drugs and alcohol. Yes, women do recover, and here are more of their stories.
The power of addiction is so strong, and people don't realize how many people you hurt while you're doing it. You know, your whole family suffers from it, and it's not just you suffering. You got all your loved ones, and I'm just so very grateful that, you know, the Lord has gave me a second chance.
I was in a relationship with a guy that had never struggled with drugs, and I had a little boy too in the midst of that, and it wasn't until after that year and a half of just snorting the heroin, it was after that that I realized that maybe I do have a problem. I had started seeing how things were spiraling, and this 20-something year thing of pain pill use, then you mesh in the heroin, then anything else that I could get my hands on that would take me out of my head, you know. So at that time that I also realized that I had a problem, I really didn't do anything about it. I, except for kept using, kept spiraling. Everybody else had the problem, not Christy. I was still a functioning addict, took care of my son every day. I may not have been doing exactly the right thing, but you know, at that time I couldn't see it. So I was definitely present, but I wasn't present. So, you know, it's just like the years go on and you don't realize how hard you're spiraling, how quick, and how much you're losing everything around you.
I was very distant from my family, isolated from my family. My mother didn't want to have anything to do with me, but my father loved me through everything.
I ended up leaving my children. I ended up going to the streets to get my drug of choices and living homelessly on the streets, prostituting, and separated spiritually from God, separated spiritually from my beliefs. All my beliefs went downhill.
The change came about in jail, and I reached out to my family, and they've always been supportive, and I restored my relationships with my family. I told them that instead of being, you know, a verbal apology like I've done over and over, on and off through the years, that I would make a living amends, and I would work a different program. I would not stop until I got it and the change settled in, and it's happened.
I lost my kids behind it. My mother passed away during my drug usage. When I found out about it, I was out shoplifting to support my habit. Came home one day and a best friend of mine told me that my mother, she told a friend of mine thinking that the friend would be able to tell me, but she took it worse than what I did. So I asked my friend what was wrong with her, and she told me, come here. She said, B, come here. And I walked on her porch and she told me, she said, your mom passed away. And I'm like, what? She said, your mom passed away. My mother lived in another county and I lived here. All I could think about was going to see my mother. I kept on saying that I was going to go check on her because I wanted her to know that I was okay. But deep in my heart, I knew that my mother knew that I was using. But I just wanted to let her know that I was all right. Physically, well, physically, I guess. I don't know. Was it physically or mentally? That I was still around. But by the time I got ready to do it, it was too late.
I could not get my life together. I put myself into a psychiatric ward time and time again, trying to kill myself just because I wanted it all to end. And I was the one who started it every single time. The psychiatric wards kept me sober for a little bit. And then I met my fiance, and him being sober was a really great start in my life. And I really thought that I was going to do it this time. I had everything that I thought that I'd wanted. My family was still supporting me. My family still loved me. Everything was just falling into place. And I really thought that I could do it this time. I ended up pregnant with my daughter. And then I really thought things were about to change. I really thought, a kid, this is it. Life is going to change. Nothing will ever be the same. I'm going to give this all up for my child because this is all I've ever wanted. Well, I gave birth to my child. She was a little early. I had complications. And shortly thereafter, I just didn't think I was enough. I couldn't stay up long enough to take care of her. I wanted to be a super mom, and I couldn't be a super mom. And the only way that I knew that I could be a super mom was opiates. So I slowly started using opiates again. But when that happened, I was able to stay up and clean and take care of my daughter the way that I wanted to, the way that I thought that I should. And that was a big deal to me because family, like I said before, was everything to me. I wanted to be the mom that my mom was to me, running around, cleaning, cooking, taking us to softball, taking us to basketball, taking us to all the sports that we went to. And that's what I wanted to be for Ellie and my fiance. And I ended up pregnant again and having a miscarriage. And when that happened, I kind of lost my mind. Well, I lost my mind. I ended up going downtown. I got a tester and I snorted it and I overdosed and died with my 1-year-old daughter in the car. She was 15 months and my choice was taken away from me. It was the first time ever during my addiction that I don't remember the choice to live. I don't remember the drive. And that for me is a very scary thing. Like, that is at least 30 minutes of my life that I do not remember, and I had my daughter in the back seat driving. When I finally overdosed, when I was in and out of consciousness, I was still driving. I finally overdosed and wrecked my car. My daughter was safe. Thank you, Jesus. She was safe. And I was dead. An officer administered Narcan, and he didn't think he had got me breathing again. They covered me with a tarp and proceeded to call my family and tell them that I was gone. And finally, the EMTs showed up and were able to get an IV and Narcaned me 4 more times and got a heartbeat. There I was taken to the hospital, and then I went to jail. This time, it was painful. There was no bargaining anymore. I felt like I just wanted to lay there, and whatever happened, it happened because I deserved it.
We'll be right back with more of Ask the Messengers.
I'm Artesia Washington, and I'd like to welcome you to Irvine Head Injury, where restoring you to your previous level of functioning is our goal. We offer services such as physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech and language pathology, aquatic therapy, massage therapy, and counseling. An automobile accident is an unfortunate event. If you feel that you or a loved one can benefit from our services, you can be reached at 248-415-2500. We look forward to hearing from you.
I am Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer, informing you that the Wayne County Treasurer's Office is now again open to the public. To adhere to social distancing guidelines, visits to the office must be by appointment only. To make an appointment, visit the Treasurer's Office website at treasurer.waynecounty.com. And for the safety of everyone, a face covering is required. Even though we are not foreclosing on any properties in 2020, I encourage taxpayers to continue making payments to avoid foreclosure in the future. This can be done online at treasurer.waynecounty.com, by visiting a DivDat kiosk located near you, by using the Wayne County mobile app, by phone, or by mailing payments to the office. If you need to visit our office, you can set up an appointment on our website, where you can also obtain kiosk locations and other valuable information. You can email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com or call us at 313-224-5990 to set up an appointment or for further assistance. We look forward to helping you.
Underage drinking is responsible for more than 4,300 deaths of youth annually. DWIHN, along with its provider partners, strive to educate young people on the deadly dangers of alcohol use and abuse. We teach youth about the dangers of drinking, especially when driving. If you are looking for resources to share with your loved one, give the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network a call, 24/7, 800-241-4949. Here to talk, here to help. More than 2.5 million Americans are addicted to opioids. The addiction is sometimes developed through the improper use of prescription painkillers. Using prescribed medication in ways or amounts not intended by a doctor is very dangerous. So it's important that unused prescriptions are properly disposed of. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, or for more information about prevention, treatment, and recovery services, or how to properly dispose of medication, contact the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network, 24/7, 800-241-4949. Here to talk, here to help.
Are you struggling with an addiction to drugs and alcohol? Are you torn with which way to go to get better? Look no further. Pure Recovery Substance Treatment Centers are here to help. Pure Recovery offers non-judgmental support for men who are finding their way to recovery. With several locations within Wayne County, one of them could be just right for you. Contact Pure Recovery today through the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network's 24-hour helpline, 800-241-4949.
Won't you help us to do exactly what our motto is, and that is to help save lives? Won't you send a generous donation to the information there on the screen? We would love to have you as part of our partnership to help save lives. You may not be able to go out in the street, you may not be able to come here to the show, but you can send your donation that helps us save lives.
We appreciate the women on today's show for their courage to share their stories. We hope that their stories have helped someone today. Yes, women do recover. And now let's wrap up today's show with a few words of encouragement.
I just can't say it enough how blessed I am for the Lord to give me this. And I don't have any cravings. I don't have any desires. I have a few using friends that I used to use with, and now they're in church and the Lord has delivered them, you know. So it can be done. You just got to put your mind to it and really, really want it.
Another thing I want to touch on before I go, relapse. Relapse happens. And just because somebody relapsed does not mean that it's the end of the world. But the important thing from that relapse is that the relapse happens if they're able to play that tape back through and figure out where it was that it went wrong. You adjust, you get back up, and you move on. And then the hope is that the next time that trigger or craving comes, that you're able to play that tape all the way through before the relapse happens. Put just as much into your recovery as you did to getting high. You just might be able to do this.
You know, when you use, you lose. And I would say, just keep trying to go through whatever it is that you're going through without the use of drugs or any minor mood altering chemicals.
There definitely is hope, because I was so hopeless out on the streets, walking those streets for the next one. And I know someone was praying for me, and when I went to jail and my life just totally started to change at that point, living in a recovery house, I started a business about a year after that, and now my business is successful. And my relationship with my children, there's hope. I didn't get to see my kids, one of them for 6 years, and I never gave up, because I knew someday that they would see the change in my life and they would want me to be back in theirs.
People can recover. I was a person who was not able to recover. I am recovering today.
My hope shot would be that you can do it. I was tore up. I was really undone. And if I can do it, you can do it. All you got to do is pick up the phone, talk to someone if you feel that you're weak and you want to go get to a meeting. The same way that you went out there in those streets and got high, it's the same way that you can get to a meeting and get yourself together, or pick up the phone and talk to somebody. The drugs is dangerous. They are constantly putting things in the drugs that's not supposed to be, that's helping you kill yourself even more.
My family stayed by my side. I still have my fiance. I get my daughter whenever I want to see her, and I thank God that she's alive for me to be able to do that. I thank God that she's not looking at a tombstone trying to figure out why I left her. Working with people and helping people and talking to people makes my heart swell, because when I was in jail this last time, I seen how many people don't have anybody at all. They don't have family, they don't have friends, and they don't have anybody to be there for them. And me, I was blessed throughout the years that I put my family through a living hell to have them still by my side. They supported me through every last bit of my trials, every last bit of every pain that I put them through. They supported me. And I really believe that made a difference in my life. I really believe that it made me stay alive. I don't never ever want to turn around. I don't want to look back, and I darn sure don't ever want to live in the past.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.